May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahavah's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect today's message. Aman. Hola, mi nombre es Kofi. ¿Cómo está? Bonjour, je m'appelle Kofi. Ça va? Ni hao, namaste. Wasaya Nikitabuya, Ohio. I see you. Manut, Wagwan, Kamsa, Kamsamida, Aloha, Ciao, Habarigani, Akwaba, Madaase, San, um, um, Barakalat Shem Yahavah, Teda, at Achia Datit, at Yahashavai, Teda, at Tisada Ike, at Maishapachi. Shalom, everybody. Peace. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Thank you for being on with us one more again as we get back into the series we started last year in the evenings called about the music industry. So we're thankful and grateful to have an opportunity to come before you all one more again and continue to speak on what Yah has for us concerning these things and seeing how things are being celebrated, some things that should not be celebrated, some things that have made its way in the culture, and if we're not careful, some things that continue to be brought into the culture or try to be infused into the culture of righteousness that don't belong. So we're going to have that conversation. We once again give our honor and praise to the Most High. We give our praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Amma, who lives a life that is able to be honored. As always, you can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. So we thank you all. We appreciate, love you, we honor you, and we're grateful for an opportunity to be before you all one more again. So we're thankful and we're grateful, and we're going to get right back into the series. As a thank you to the ministerial staff that came on tonight. If you were not able to come on or whatever, just kind of contact me and let me know so we can make sure that you're updated and everything. But we're appreciative of where Yah has us going, making sure that our infrastructure is correct. Let us not forget to keep Big Brother Thomas and his family in prayer, and also let us not forget to be present if we're able to be so for our on Saturday 2 p.m. Eastern New York time, our excuse me, I'm sorry, our SOC community meeting, first one of the year, as well as 7 p.m. Eastern New York time, our men's meeting for those who would like to be able to join us. So we're thankful, grateful. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll do our Bible pledge. If you'd like to be able to just repeat after me. And I'm sorry, if you're able to reverence Yahavah's word or stand to your feet, we appreciate love you for doing so in advance. Let's say shalom to everybody and peace, everybody, real quick before we get started. How you doing, Sister Beck, Trayvon, Bruder Charlie, Sister Iska, Sister Knight? Is it Captain Blind? Hello, how you doing, Sean Davis, Sister Mignon, Cole? Hola, ¿cómo está mi hermana Sherry? Gracias por tu presencia. Te amo in Christos. Praise Yah. How you doing, Sister Michelle? Everybody, how you doing, Sister Monica, Sister Nadine, Shoe Queen? I'm sorry, Sister Monica. I think as I was getting on here, I saw that you might have tried to send me a message, so please forgive me for not seeing it. I'll try to look at it as soon as I can. How you doing, Twin? How you doing, Brother Craig? How you doing, Sister Alyssa? Everybody, come on in, come on in, come on in. The water is fine. I'm how you doing, Elder Select Tamara? Minister Select Crystal, everybody come on in here. We appreciate, love you. I, Brother Vincent, Dr. T, Daryl, Martina Towns. If I missed anybody on any platform, charges my head, not to my heart. We're thankful and grateful for you. All right. How you doing, Movement Muse? How you doing, Sister Monique? You can just go ahead and repeat after me. This is my Bible. This is my sword. And this will I trust. For Yahashavai is Lord. No sword of God shall ever be heard. For this is my Bible. And this is Yah's word. Hashem Yahavah, Aman, which is in his authority, his name, Aman, amen. All righty. So we're going to continue the series on the music industry. Today, we're going to be focused on gangster rap. Gangster rap, the effect of it, who owns it, how does it get displayed, why is it displayed, why is it given so much credence, all these great things. Amen. All righty. So we're thankful and grateful to each and every one of you. Today, how's everybody doing? Hopefully you all are doing well. We're thankful to have another opportunity to speak with you, to talk with you. I think there's a couple persons who I need to get calendars to as well. I'll try to make sure I get those calendars to you. Forgive me for being behind on those. For some of you, we'll make sure that we get that to you ASAP. Tonight we're going to talk about gangster rap. So we've been talking about music. Last time we spoke on this series, which was, I believe, was Tuesday, right? Tuesday evening, or was it? No. Monday evening. Tuesday was watch night service, right? And also too, just to kind of put it out there, once again, if there are persons who are asking, why do we keep certain traditions, but we're saying you can't celebrate this, can't celebrate that, especially with Purim and with Hanukkah or the Feast of Dedication. I'm gonna say it real quick, and then we're going to get into it. I just want to put it out there because it was brought to my attention. I don't mind that it is. You guys know we do Q&A and stuff like that all the time. I'm not tripping. I'm just making it known, saying it one more again, and I'll say it every time somebody has a question about it. I'm trying to make sure whatever we do it righteously. There's a lot of stuff the persons are trying to do for those holy days that are not necessarily even in the Bible. And we need to be careful as far as what we're carrying, what we're building, what we're presenting, how we're doing this stuff, etc. And so I want to ensure that we're doing things righteous. Also, if somebody's like, well, you guys do Brothers in Black, you do Women in Red, you do 4 Hours of Power. There's reasons why we do those things, just like we do men's meetings, we do women's meetings. Those aren't things that we have to keep up as far as holy days, but we do them because there are things that happen to be traditions at SOC. You don't have to be a part of those things. And also too, if you want to do Purim, I've said this before, the Bible doesn't say we have to uphold Purim. If you want to celebrate Purim, celebrate it. Just make sure you're celebrating it the way that it says in the Bible. But even with that, I mean, it's something that Mordecai and Esther, decided to do, not something Yah said thou shalt do. Same thing with the Feast of Dedication. Feast of Dedication is something that comes up and it's celebrating something that was done. Now, if you're getting into candles and dreidels and 12 days and all this stuff like that, you might want to double check, including some things that Maccabees tells you that you might want to double check, and maybe it's not the best thing for you to do, but we want to make sure that we're honoring those things. Okay. So that's honoring what the word of Yah said. So if you decide to do those things, sure. If you're saying, why isn't SOC doing those things? We started off at one point, especially virtually speaking, we weren't even doing everything virtually at one point, right? It's taken us some years to get to a place to where we're doing things in accordance with Yah's will and his way. We're able to teach on it, all those great things. So we just want to make sure that everybody's aware of those things or whatever. But if somebody, has questions, comments, or concerns, you can feel free to even contact me. We can go through it and stuff. I haven't said you can't celebrate blah, blah. And to be honest, as much as persons might not want this, sometimes to each their own, we can agree to disagree. But right now, we're not going to be doing it. We might do it next year. Who knows? But for right now, we're going to make sure that we're righteous and we're doing everything in accordance with Yah's will the best we can. All right. How you doing, Brother TJ? So just want to kind of put that out there and thank you everybody for, of course, your support and everything. So, all right. Tonight, we're going to talk about music industry. We're talking about gangster rap. We've already started this. We've been doing this series for a little bit. You can find it on our playlist on YouTube to catch up on it if you'd like to. How you doing, Brother Lamar? So we're going to go ahead and get into this. Praise Yah. All right. So gangster rap is something that has really affected the music industry, something that really started in the 80s. Actually, it gets its start. Gangster rap itself really starts in NWA. Not saying there were no gangsters who were involved with stuff when hip hop started. If you know about hip hop, or at least what we call hip hop, the movement, rap music, etc., it started really. Some person can say it goes back to the 30s and 40s when persons would say rhyming words before they actually got into stuff. You can see that it was even going on during the Soul Train era. You could see that even because hip hop itself, if you want to get as far as what persons will call hip hop, some persons disagree with this. But, if I go off of KRS-One, who's kind of known respected hip hop, not only mogul, rapper himself, but also an MC and historian. He will tell you that you got it. When you look at hip hop, you have to look at it in 5 different ways, right? Hip hop is about DJing. Hip hop is about MCing. Hip hop is about fashion. Hip hop is about art. Graffiti art is usually the one the persons look at the most. And hip hop is also about dance, right? And so hip hop has been something that's been, and also it's affected by many different things. Because remember, if you're talking about DJing, especially if you're talking about getting on the ones and twos, right? Then you're talking about somebody who's taking different things, samples of different things, or taking different parts of something, and saying instead of going through the whole song, we'll repeat a certain part of the song, or even certain parts of songs. Now we even just take different part, take this bass line, take this guitar riff, take this hook, take this piano part, whatever, and we put it together. And that's kind of what hip hop has turned into, something even as much as he who shall not be named, right, who was in charge of Bad Boys, something that he actually kind of made where everybody was kind of like, oh, okay, we're just going to take this song and we might take the whole song and literally put something else over it and we'll call it something different or whatever, right? We'll take a sample of the hook or we'll just re-sing the hook or whatever. So hip hop's taking a lot of different twists and turns. How you doing, twin? Hip hop is taking a lot of turns and things like that. But as far as like, what we think of as hip hop or rap music, it starts in New York, in the streets and all that stuff, Cool Herc and all that. But then also too, we got to then look at, if we're talking about tonight, gangster rap, but then really we don't have anything that starts before NWA, right? How you doing? Right? Yeah, break beats. So if we're talking about gangster rap, we talking about really NWA. That's it. I'm not saying there's nobody that existed before, nobody that was trying to do stuff. But if we're going to talk about where it actually is, how you doing, Elder Select Hammer? We're talking about um, basically NWA. N words with attitude. I'll say Negroes with attitude for the night to be nice, right? But N words with attitude and certain things that were there. And even though we try to act like the only thing that they did to influence stuff was to say something like F the police and to let us know, wow, we can actually be against the machine. You said Q was writing almost all NWA content. I mean, yeah, a lot of truth in that, right? Especially he was writing mostly for Dre. And I think he wrote pretty much anything that Eazy-E said, at least until he left the group. Right? And Eazy-E himself would have told you he didn't even know how to rap. And if you listen to him, he wasn't all that great at staying on the beat, or his flow wasn't what we would consider to be one of the best flows we've ever heard. But if we're going to talk about gangster rap, it starts pretty much with NWA, right? There might be somebody who wants to question that. How you doing, Minister Stephen? If so, it is what it is, but we're going to be honest, especially if we're talking about something that became mainstream, became the norm, and opened the door for a lot of pretty much almost all hip hop now is some kind of version of gangster rap. There's obviously stuff that's not, but if it's going to be popularized, if it's going to be even pop music, it's going to basically be gangster rap. Right, you're not really gonna find conscious rap. Conscious rap really has never. There were persons that snuck through, right? Chuck D and Public Enemy and them, right? Flavor Flav, etc. You could talk about that being mainstream conscious. I would call that conscious rap. You can talk about KRS-One before he kind of was shut down. There are some things that every once in a while sneak through to where you could say a verse or a couple of verses or even maybe a song here or there that you could count as conscious rap. Even if you don't like Jay-Z, you could even talk about some of the stuff he did on 444, and things like that. And, what he did as far as with the, my skin is black. Please forgive me. I'm forgetting the name of the song, but when he says, still N-word, rich N-word, poor N-word, blah, 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 still N-word. There's some conscious stuff that seeps through, but you're not really going to become pop or popular, right? Because that's all pop music really is. As much as everybody wants to make it everything else, pop music is really when your music becomes popular. So some of your favorite artists, how you doing, Sister Sabria? Some of your favorite artists who you don't want to consider to be pop, if they're popular, that's what pop music is. If you make it to the pop music charts, it means that they're saying your music is popular and it transcends just being in your group. So if you like California Love, right? Pac and Dre off All Eyes on Me, then guess, right? Death Row, as much as you want to act like it's pop music, right? Excuse me. Sorry, TikTok. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. How you doing, Keith? Shalom. Um, Right. J. Cole, you can talk about J. Cole. I wouldn't call J. Cole necessarily conscious music, because J. Cole's still gonna be hitting you with I'm the man and I'm that N-word and blah blah. But he's definitely gonna bring a different influence. And so some things sneak in with him too. Kendrick Lamar, people call him I'm sorry, conscious rap. I wouldn't call him conscious rap. Um, a lot of different things. So I would say that there's a lot of stuff goes on, but gangster rap is in particular is something that basically is the standard. It became something that persons realized would sell. Now you must recognize like Run DMC or um, you know Big Daddy Kane. Um, I forget my man's name. I see his face. Anyways, if it comes to me, it comes to me. But there are persons that we would see on there, and these persons became popular, right? Everybody's getting these deals, everybody's getting all this different stuff or whatever, everybody's getting all this love, etc. This is stuff that became more popular. As it becomes more popular, certain persons, certain groups of people in certain industries who are the same industries that continue to have Rakim. That's what I'm talking about. We were on the same page. How you doing, Brother Richard? Right. That's what I was thinking about. All these different persons, right? They began to become popular. As they become popular, you get music deals, you get more money, you get to tour. And really for real, even back then to even today, for the most part, you're making your money off of touring. So your goal is to try and get popular enough pop music, to try and get it to be popular enough to where enough persons, even if it nowadays is you're kind of can create more of your own personal fan base, but your goal is to get enough of a fan base to where now you can be able to go out and you can go ahead and sell out their shows, maybe even arenas, but even if not, concert halls, etc., to where you can do enough of it. You can make, hopefully, bare minimum 50,000 or so, 100,000 or so a show. And once you make your money on your show, you can do enough of that throughout the year, where that's where you're making your millions, right? But what happened over time is that when NWA becomes as popular as it does, it leads the way for a lot of other so-called gangster rap acts to come out, right? Even when NWA splits up, Easy E ends up leaving and going over to now, which to a very famous gangster rap group, Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? Ice Cube starts doing his own thing. In the midst of this happening, Tupac Shakur is growing, and he's not even necessarily gangster rap, but then eventually becomes gangster rap, especially when he starts living in Oakland and he gets introduced to LA, becomes part of Death Row. That blows up. Snoop Dogg coming out of what Dr. Dre is already doing. Dr. Dre is now mixed with an actual gangster, right? A blood by the name of Suge Knight. You have at the same time now on the East Coast, you have stuff picking up where Puff Daddy is now going to the persons that don't get opportunity because nobody was thinking gangster rap was going to be a thing. And so as that's starting to pop up, now you got Biggie Smalls bringing in Lil C's, Biggie Smalls bringing in Lil Kim, right? The Locks and them are now dealing with that, and then eventually go over to DMX, who's starting to blow up. DMX is now got Rough Riders. You bringing in persons like Eve. You're also bringing in persons like the Locks who switched over. You got a lot of different things that have happened with gangster rap. And so gangster rap has been the thing to sell because the persons who sell music realize that that's the most popular, right? Now, I'm saying all that to say that once again, I hope you caught what I said, that the persons who are in charge are realizing that that's who sells because they're the most popular. You got to realize Puff Daddy was an intern, right? Diddy was an intern. And as an intern, he was somebody who got popular and even got a position of authority because he was the one who was the connection. If you wanted to find the next cat in the street, he was the one that was going to be able to go and say, hey, I know this person who knows this person. Hey, bring this person in, right? He even himself becomes this person, even though he's not a gangster, but he becomes somebody that you start putting stuff out. He puts out an album, No Way Out, all this different stuff, brings on a Busta Rhymes on the album, brings on Twista from Chicago, Twista blowing up and stuff like that in Chicago blowing up, a lot of different acts happening. Eventually gangster rap takes place where we're now those who are living street life and stuff like that. They coming from the South held it down for a whole bunch of time. 50 Cent was kind of the last big New York thing. From that point on, the South pretty much had a stranglehold on the game, right? And then really kind of sort of for the most part has still had one up until you get Drake. Drake is basically doing the Canada thing, but he really doesn't have a specific style, so he's taken from everybody. And then Kendrick Lamar is growing in the midst of that, pretty much now has a stranglehold on the game. And now you're seeing the West Coast kind of where everything started with gangster rap. Now you had this guy who's was raised on the streets, was, I believe, a blood. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If not, I forget. Well, forgive me. You know, I'm not trying to call you blood if you really Pyru or Crip. I think you a blood, right? Or maybe it's a Crip. I don't know, because you started calling, you know, you were calling Drake Crody. I don't know. I don't keep up with all of it. But I'm just saying all this stuff has happened. This is the thing that persons believe sells. Right? This is what persons believe sells. How you doing, double OG, triple OG? Right? This is what persons believe sell. Even if you're going to be somebody who's not really gangster, you have to come off as gangsters, come off as somebody who fights, come off as somebody who got that thing on you, got that heat, whatever the case might be. Right? I'm sorry, it's frozen. Is it frozen for everybody on TikTok? Is everybody frozen? Is anybody frozen on TikTok? I tried to switch the signal. Can you guys hear and see me on TikTok? Can you hear and see me on YouTube? Yeah, I know Pyru is blood, but there's blood and then there's Pyru. So not all Pyru is blood, right? Or I guess all Pyru are blood, but there's Pyru is also a separation, you know? Okay, signal's fine. Okay. So like I said, I might not have all the answers on that. I'm not gonna pretend to, right? That being said, gangster rap has become the thing that they feel is the most appealing, but for real, gangster rap is the thing that's sold. The persons that own the industry. It's like when we say that's a black neighborhood. Well, if it's a black neighborhood, does everybody own everything? Are all the chicken spots, the chicken joints, black owned, right? Are all the Taco Bells and everything in there, or the Burger Kings? Are they all black owned? Right? Are the Wendy's black owned? Are the mom and pop stores black owned? Or the Walmart's black owned? Right? So we'll say we're in a black neighborhood, but is it really black, or is it just a neighborhood black people reside in? Type thing, right? Same thing with hip hop. We'll say that hip hop is black, and to a certain extent, yeah, there's a black face on hip hop, and there need to be so-called black mannerisms, but it's not owned. And so the persons who own and even sign the deals and distribute the music and tell you where you can play and where you can and what venue you can use and what venue you can't, they don't look like you, but they sell you to the masses. They distribute you to the masses, and in their mindset, when they distribute you to the masses, this is what they say appeals to the masses, because in racism, white supremacy, it's been set up to where you were supposed to have a certain look. You're supposed to have certain idiosyncrasies that you feel, or you're supposed to have certain qualities that they say that this is what sells. So the persons who are buying most of your music don't look like you, but they've been raised to believe that you fit in this box. So if you try to go outside the box, we're going to get you for it. Now, there are persons that will argue against me, and I had to go back and listen to his stuff, because for real, I would agree with you that maybe his musical choices and maybe even his rhyme scheme and stuff like that's not the best. But for example, we have somebody like Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper was somebody who became popular, this, that, whatever. He was going to be kind of Kanye 2.0. He was going to be kind of clean cut and clear and not cussing as much and doing this and all these different things or whatever. And not talking about gangster rap. Kanye West becomes famous because he's, you know, streets adjacent, but he's not street. Kanye's kind of losing popularity, even though he's still big in the game. All of a sudden, Chance the Rapper is supposed to kind of fill a little bit of that void that's being left over. And then Chance, he ends up getting married. Right. I just learned, I guess he got divorced from the woman he was with. But at the time, you know, was married. And he comes out with an album, and the album's like 19 music tracks or 17 music tracks and 4 skits or something like that. But he wanted to reflect how happy he was in his marriage. And he feels like even his wedding was kind of the theme that he used for all the tracks and everything. But for him to come out with something where he would talk about marriage, everybody downs him and clowns him for it. It says, how dare you, that was bad, this and that or whatever. And he loses popularity. Why? Because he's not gangster enough. Right? Gangster music or gangster rap has gotten us to a place, right? We have more respect if we go over somebody's house and we see, you know, it used to be, you know, you need to see white Jesus on the wall, and maybe you still need to have white Jesus on the wall, but somewhere on your wall now, especially if you gangster rap, in the gangster rap, you need to have Al Capone somewhere or Scarface somewhere, right? You need to be able to relate to the corporate gangsters, such as Donald Trump and make sure that you have some kind of say so. And then all of a sudden, when he becomes what he became eventually, then be able to disavow anything. But that was something that was a big deal. You were supposed to put Trump lyrics in. You were supposed to get in a picture with Trump. You were supposed to make sure that people thought you was rich like Trump. And you ain't care about nobody and you stomp on them like Trump, right? That was a big thing. It's a big gangster mentality, money first mentality. And the problem with gangster rap is and I'm not trying to say I've never listened to any. I'm not saying I don't tune in every once in a while to see where stuff is. The problem, if we be honest though, is that gangster rap, first of all, first and foremost, the spirit of it and even what's going on, right, is that you're dealing with a mentality where most persons aren't supposed to make anything of themselves other than in a short amount of time. As young, you're being very young, you're not supposed to make it past a certain age. You're either supposed to end up dead or in jail. How you doing, Darius? And that mindset has been the thing that's there. So this is why a lot of stuff has become quick, fast, and in a hurry. This is why somebody can put out an album 2 days ago and somebody gonna tell you it was old now. You ain't heard Kendrick? That Kendrick GNX been out forever. I don't know. It's been out for what, a month, 2 months? But you're gonna hear something like that, right? If we have a mindset like somebody puts out a song and who cares about lyrics of a song? Why? Because who cares if you even make it, right? No matter who you are, right? A lot of persons, um, not Post Malone, I forget who the guy is, somebody else, and XX Extacion and all these different rappers or whatever. Look at how young they're losing their lives. Look at how many of them are hooked on things or on lean. Kodak Black, his life story and everything has become extremely scary because he's in a position where all these persons are living a mentality where they don't care that much, and the persons who pay their bills or pay for them or put them on these deals that they got to pay their money back. A lot of persons don't even know they take out insurance policies on these rappers' lives because they don't expect the rappers to live that long. How you doing, Sister Kimberly? You said they'll grab on to the next period real quick. Yeah. So they don't even expect them to live that long. So they take out insurance policy because once you die, they still need to make that money back. They make sure they own your music and they got your masters. So when you don't make it to where you can make that money back, they still making money off of your stuff. Now, all of a sudden, once you die, oh, that's real big for the next 5 to 10 years. All your unfinished music, we keep coming out with these projects, just like what happened with Pop, right? Tupac Shakur dies. All of a sudden, for years and years and years, for like 10, 15 years after, how was Tupac still coming out with new music? Because he was constantly working, constantly putting stuff together, and then somebody's got a hold of that music. Right. And so the persons that are in charge, there's a gangster mentality. What's that movie? Somebody help me. What's the name of that movie? John Travolta these are the persons that were there. John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Andre 3000, Cedric the Entertainer, Dwayne Johnson, Mac Miller is the other guy I was thinking about. Yeah. What's the name of that movie? Be Cool. Thank you. Right. Low key, really, really, really. I thought it was really well done. And some persons in the movie actually were really surprising to me how great they could act. you know, um, it was actually really well done. Great script. Think was Danny DeVito somewhere in there? I don't know, but but anyways, the whole movie is showing you how it's gangs that run the music business. You'll see, right? It's literally gangster mentality. The persons who control it, the corporate gangsters, the industry gangsters, as somebody said, I think it was Trayvon said earlier, you know, you have these persons, they're running the music industry. And so gangsters see the appeal, right, of gangsters. Because if you go back to Al Capone, persons don't want to admit this to you, but everybody loved Al Capone. That's why it was such a big deal when Al Capone went to trial, right? Al Capone was loved. you know, Everybody want to look at it different now, but Bugsy, everybody loved Bugsy back in the day. How many of y'all watch movies and you don't want to watch a movie? You don't want to watch a movie where there's righteousness versus evil. You want the person that's evil to be the person you remember. You want to have a great villain, a villain that you might be able to agree with. You need the villain to be somebody that you say, I could see why they were bad, and I want to do the same thing. It's appealing. This is something that's been done and known for a long time, right? And so, and all these different things that are going on. It used to be like you had some villains back in the day where you were supposed to hate that person and love to hate them. Right now, you're supposed to, yeah, you got to empathize and sympathize and try to make it okay and say, yeah, you know, that person is bad. They're not really a bad person. You said like the Venom movie, he's a bad guy. Yeah, I haven't watched the three of them now. There's three of them. I haven't watched any of them, but yeah, if you grew up with Venom, Venom's not cool, you know? Like you can see where Venom kind of sort of maybe you could feel sorry for the humanity of him because Venom is supposed to be the actual symbiote, right? The alien. But you know, you can kind of see where Venom, you know, the guy, excuse me, please forgive me. I'm having a moment here. Revoke my comic book card. The guy who, you know, Peter Parker was against and all that stuff, and then come to find out that he was Peter Parker, and then he got powers, and now he can go against Peter Parker, all that stuff. You know, that's but they try to make him now somebody that you do. And by the way, they've been doing it with all these Spider-Man villains. They came out. I didn't see the movie, but I've heard it's not that great. The movie about Craven, if you know about comic book characters. Craven, a bad guy. Now you try to make him somebody who's great. You have Morbius. Blade, the original Blade in the comic books, Blade used to actually chase after Morbius. If you actually grew up watching the Spider-Man cartoon at a certain age, Blade actually was somebody that Spider-Man meets while Blade is chasing after Morbius. Morbius is somebody who is a vampire, but they make the vampire somebody who's now a great guy. You say even the Satan got a better PR team with the Lucifer show, yeah, right. And so these persons who are industry giants, you have to realize these industry gangsters, they want you to love them. See, it's interesting. Have you ever thought about the fact that if a player, let's put it to football, let's put it to sports in general. If somebody's trying to lead their team, have you ever noticed that that person has to go through all this stuff and everybody says how bad they are and how dare they want more money and how dare they want to leave a team and how dare they want to start over and how dare they're not just a team player, but the owner of the team, the owner of the slaves that play for the team, everybody gets on their side. But the owner is worse. For example, what's his face? Now I can't remember his name, but not too long ago was considered to be one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns. He gets in trouble for the stuff that he was doing with women. And if you do some research, yes, he was having a lot of sex, and we're not going to act like that's cool, right? But let's be honest. Everybody knew from his days in Clemson, he was having sex with all these girls. He was getting persons who would pay, or he would pay even, to make sure that these women would show up and they would give him service. Let's just say it like that, right? He gets to the Houston Texans, same thing. He gets with these women, they give him service. Everybody knows about this. All of a sudden, he says, I need you guys to be working with me or whatever. The persons who own the Houston Texans, their family are known racist. This black quarterback says, no, you're going to treat me with respect, blah, blah. Or I'm going to leave. They get him to sign a contract. Then they don't do the stuff they say they're going to do with him to get him to sign the contract. He says, you know what? I'm done. I want to be traded. They say, no, you don't want to be traded. If you want to be traded, we're going to make life tough for you. So he says, no, you can't do anything. Everybody wants me. I can leave. How you doing, Big Brother Thomas? Says, I can leave. I can go play wherever I want, right? This is Gangsta what's about to happen to him. He thought he was gangster because he could do whatever with all these women. Nobody cared. And look, I'm not saying what he did was righteous. I'm just saying he wasn't out here doing the stuff that they say he was doing. What do? All of a sudden, he's looking for teams. When that starts to happen, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, hey, all you girls that were around him or with him or that we were even paying for, you know, these persons paid CIA, FBI, and even former CIA and FBI agents to watch after these players and know everything that they're doing. They know everything he's doing. All of a sudden now, though, you want to leave, gangster time, right? You a gangster. You think you a gangster. We're going to show you what this really about. Hey, everybody come out here. We're going to pay you money, and you're going to go about trying to make sure you say that he's basically been doing nothing but going from person to person to person, and he pulled a so-called Bill Cosby. That's what they did, right? They do this in sports all the time. Allen Iverson, been faithful to the Philadelphia 76ers. He's the closest thing they've had to Dr. J since Dr. J left as far as popularity. He's playing a little hard out, doing all this stuff. He done overcame. He's really not giving you know, he's putting the city on his back Finally, they don't want to deal with them or whatever. They trying to get rid of him. All of a sudden, oh, you're a bad person. Look, he doesn't practice. Look, he's this. Look, see, we found out that he's doing this. Look, he's not the family man y'all think. All of a sudden, we need to ship him to Denver, and they made him out to be the worst person in the world. Right? Because these are gangsters. These are the ones that really run stuff. You think that Allen Iverson's running stuff until you realize the dude that signs Iverson's checks is the one that runs stuff. The dude that hides everything from Iverson, but then when Iverson wants to get out of pocket, will then start to tell you some of the things that your hero isn't living up to or whatever. Now all of a sudden, everybody's against them. Well, same thing happens with these gangsters, and you see all the stuff that happens, right? 50 Cent, biggest gangster of them all, right? Been hit with a few shells, but I don't walk with a limp. Right? Guess what? You want to come against one of us? Oh yeah, we'll replace you with Kanye in a second, and you can't sell music. Why don't you go act now? Like that. Oh, Tupac, you want to act the fool, this and that? Oh yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead. We'll put you in prison, and we'll say you did this, even though you the one that got shot up. Oh, you were defending yourself and others against the police. You were shooting at them, even though they're the ones trying to take your life and shooting at you. We'll go ahead and we'll make your life miserable. These are the ones that are in control. Now, these persons are the ones who tell you who will be able to make it. And here's one of the things about gangster rap, now that we don't want to talk about. The biggest gangsters in rap, the biggest names in rap, every single one of them basically think of them as informants. This is the industry that you're looking at and putting all these persons up. And rap, you're not supposed to be a snitch, but every one of them, just about they're gonna make it, are gonna be a snitch. You know why? Because you can't make it in the game. Look, all right, this is me. This is okay. This is Kofi talking. This is not factual. This is how I think about it. I'm gonna say that to make sure that somebody ain't gonna try to come after me and say this dude is putting out untruths. Okay. All right. So if somebody sees this, you know Kofi said this is Kofi talking. This is just me in my mind. I didn't say that I got this paperwork and blah blah. Right. I know somebody who's been in prison before. You got to have paperwork, right? So I'm not saying I didn't see these people paperwork. Okay. I'm just telling you the game. All right. Okay. I'm sorry to tell you this, but if everybody around you dying and you the one that lives, you think that that's accidental? If in the rap game, everybody around you getting shot up and you the one that's still standing, you think that's accidental? I'm not going to put a name out there. I'm gonna just put some things that happen. Um, you think that the person next to you who are messing with underage children, you think that the persons next to you who are dying in plane crashes, you think that the persons that are next to you who are going to Epstein Island, you think that the persons that are next to you that are getting caught with all this baby oil and stuff, and there's persons suing saying, "Hey, you did this to me, you did this to me, you did this to me." You think that that person is standing and they weren't an informant? You don't think they were a snitch? You don't think they have the mindset to sell each other out? Matter of fact, can I be honest with you? I know that gangsters, and there's some real gangsters in the room. I'm not one. There's some real gangsters listening. They can tell you better than I can tell you. I'm not saying every single person who's on the street is a snitch or is a gangster, but I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of gangsters on the street that they the hardest ones, and you ain't gonna do nothing, and can't nobody tell me, and I'm gonna be for the streets for the rest of my life. Yada yada yada. Let the popo show up and see how they, let's see the sound of their voice. Let's see the tenor of the song they sing now. Right? Ain't nobody snitching. I'm the hardest, blah, blah, whatever. Takashi 6ix9ine, I run this, blah, blah, whatever. Now we knew what was up with him, but I'm just saying, all right, he's an example too. Takashi 6ix9ine, this, that, or whatever. Shoot, now he's telling you why he needs to snitch. And by the way, I ain't necessarily mad at him because I'm a civilian myself. Let those who are on the street deal with that. But he said he lived by code. As soon as he had an opportunity to make sure he didn't live by that code, he ain't live by it, did he? These are informants. Right? And they might as well be informants because even if they're not, number one rule of being on the street is you don't talk. I done been around some cats to where I know some stuff. I know where some bodies are buried, so to speak, not literally, but as the saying goes, I know where some of the bodies are buried. And if you know that, you look the other way. And if somebody said, "Hey, did you see a shovel in so and so's hand at 3 o'clock p.m. December 5th of 2020 and 15?" No, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing because that cat, right? There's somebody out there that knows that. Yeah, I did. And if I don't say I ain't seen nothing the right way, somebody coming looking for me. But these cats tell you everything that they did, and they put it in the lyrics. They get arrested and they get put in court. All they do is just say, "Yo, stream his thing real quick. Go to YouTube and go to 1 minute 35 seconds." Right? They if you don't, these cats snitch. Well, watch this. They snitching because they want the popularity. They want the streams. They want everybody to say, "Look at how big and bad they is." I learned a long time ago, the biggest, baddest dude in the room is the dude that don't say nothing. The dude that throw hands the best is the one that never says, "We're going to fight." The one who's telling, the one who yells at it and says, "I'll F all y'all up," is the one that can't fight. Usually, not always. Yeah, they use social media. They use all the stuff. They put their stuff out there, right? They go on Vlad TV. Vlad is known. He's part of the family that owns a lot of this stuff. Vlad is known for getting them to come on his show and make sure that he gonna out y'all and get you to say something that you shouldn't say. Right? This is the mentality. This is a spirit. All these persons that are willing because they don't care. Once again, shoot, I ain't supposed to make. I tell persons this all the time, and I wasn't even a hood N-word. Right? I ain't that dude. But can I be honest with you? I'm surprised. Or at least, no, I'm not anymore. But when I got to age 21, I was in the military by the time I was 17. And still, in my mind, once you hit 21, I ain't had no clue what I'm supposed to do. I had dreams about things. I knew that I was supposed to, I thought I was supposed to preach and do it. But to be honest with you, I still had this thing in my mind because a lot of us, we ain't supposed to make it past 21. So you get to 21, you don't even know what to do with the rest of your life. What is Snoop known for? I'm not saying he doesn't help children here, there, and stuff like that. But what is Snoop known for? The same thing he was doing when he was 19. What is Dre known for? The same thing that he was doing when he was in NWA. What was Diddy known for? Same thing that he was doing when Biggie Smalls was still here. Because there's no mentality past a certain age. This mindset, this spirit, right? These persons, Dr. Dre slapping D Barnes around, slapping women around. No wonder he's doing weird things with women still. Excuse me. What was Eminem known for? Derogatory stuff. Talking about how he was going to off his mama, talking about how he was going to off his wife, talking about how he hated black women. Yes. I know we don't want to act like he ever said that stuff, and we want to say he's a completely different person. Up until him and Lord Jamar had a beef, and then he said, "All y'all black folk in hip hop and all this stuff or whatever, I'm not a guest in your house. I'll come in, I'll stomp on this, I'm blah blah. I'll pee all over your sheets, all this foolishness or whatever," saying he don't care about us. Then all he had to do is find somebody though that'll sit across from him and let him go ahead. All you got to do is find one of us who will sit down and it'll be like, "Hey, it's okay that he's doing that to us. It's okay that he's breaking. It's okay he's not really for the culture. It's okay that he's a culture vulture. We'll just let him." And I'm not saying Eminem can't rap. Technically, he's one of the best, if not the greatest technical rappers of all time. But I give him that. But Eminem's still known for the same thing. If you don't believe it, look at I'm pretty sure the last album that he put out, what did he do? He said he wants to return back to Slim Shady. While saying it's the death of Slim Shady, he brought him back out to make sure that he showed y'all that, hey man, the stuff that you guys used to love, where I just was this guy who was out here and I was just a frat party kind of guy. I'm the same guy. See? Yeah, we get numb to how terrible women are treated and stuff like that. I say all that though to say that that's what music is. That's what sells, because the persons who are in power, that's what they want it to be. This is what infiltrates it. Now, this is where it becomes a problem for us. And can I be honest? I'll just keep it personal. If it's not your problem, it's cool, right? But there's a personal problem for me. I'm being honest, because as much as I have a huge nostalgia for hip hop, and I still like to hear it, If I be honest, there's a part of me when I even got to be careful who I listen to, because somebody be putting out some crazy stuff, and I'm like, ooh, I got to step back from this, because this is I like the lyricism so much that I'll ignore what the lyrics are saying, and I'll let it seep into my mind and my heart. I have to be careful, right? That being said, though, all these things that were done in gangster rap, what happens is a lot of us, a lot of Israel, a lot of Negroes are trying to come into the faith, and you still carrying the same mentality. You're trying to come into this walk where you're not called to be gangster. I'm not saying you can't protect your family, but we not gangster. We not. That's not who you are. Somebody took look. You might have had to do that to survive on the streets, but you're not gangster. You kingdom now. You might be infantry in the army of the Lord, but you're not gangster. You carry your cross, and you're a living sacrifice. But cat peep game. Don't just be willing to be sacrificed for the principle of the thing, right? You called to be a living sacrifice. You're supposed to be alive, my boy. There's things that soldiers do, but gangsters are different than soldiers. See, we lawful out this piece. If you're gonna pull your piece out, pull it out because you lawful. Pull your piece out because you got to make sure that your people have peace. Pull your piece out because it's important that you make sure you have a militia according to the Second Amendment. But don't just pull your piece out just because somebody trying to invade your corner. You got to love your enemies, not just be willing to go ahead and silence anybody that comes against you. And the mindset that's coming from gangster rap is one that's saying, right, this is the mind, this is the reason why we give Kendrick a huge pass, because Kendrick will tell you straight up, he's the Elohim. Kendrick will wear straight up a crown of thorns. Kendrick will tell you straight up that he's Gemini. He wants to be able to be violent as much as he wants to be able to do righteousness, but that's being double-minded. That's cognitive dissonance. And a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. If you're going to follow him, then you're following instability. I know he won the rap beef with Drake, so we should just act like everything he said. Look. I can realize that he can put out a hit, and he's so great at the stuff he's doing now. He can scream out mustard and make a hit. And I ain't mad at it, by the way, right? That being said, yeah, it's laziness. That being said, right, I can also realize if you're gonna make a song about reincarnation, and at the end of it make it a point to show persons that you're a reincarnation of the devil. You're a reincarnation of Billie Holiday, right? Your reincarnation of all these R&B stars that were in between, all these persons that the rap industry or the music industry done done this stuff to. Well, guess what? At some point, we got to realize that when you say you're a reincarnation of the devil at the end, I can't follow you. I can't make an excuse for that. I can't act like that's okay. When you say you can't forgive, I can't act like, okay, well, that's something that I'm cool with. I've had to leave some family members alone because I'm loyal, but I can't be loyal to mess. And there's some family members that are like, yo, if you forgive folk, or if you don't allow yourself, or if you won't just do whatever, if you won't just be angry with me and have wrath and want vengeance all the time with me, then we can't be family. Then you know what? We're family, but two will be in one house and three against the other. And mother will have to be against daughter, and son will have to be against father, and father-in-law against son-in-law, and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. We just gonna have to break ways. Because I can't roll with that. And there's a lot of persons who are coming in with a gangster rap mentality or a gangster mentality, but you're more than a conqueror. Gangsters conquer, y'all. You're more than a conqueror. You're more than that. Fine, you had to do that to survive, but you're more than that. You're more than that, right? Gangster rap has affected the sisters the way the sisters had to be gangster, but they're not supposed to be men. So the sisters are supposed to be controlling, and they're supposed to be doing the same stuff. They're supposed to be even more dirty now. They're supposed to be out there showing everything, because that's what women are supposed to be in gangster rap, because that's what gangster rap puts you. Lil Kim, who became popular, right? Biggie Smalls had to go to her and say, yo, I'm going to write lyrics for you, and I'm going to set you up to be the biggest what they call them, 804s. I'm trying to be nice, but that's how she presented herself, was as a harlot. And we go, man, Lil Kim, man, and look, I never had it in my room, but I know what cats, when person say I had the Lil Kim poster, I know who you talking about. Oh, it's 304. Okay, 304. Right? I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. But that's what she was. Look, Foxy Brown and Gangsta Rap. What was she supposed to do? How was she supposed to present herself? Nicki Minaj comes out. Hardest thing that she ever did was Monster. First track, at least first track we know her about, right? That she really put her on the map. I'll even give you credit. Like lyrically, it's the best thing on there. She was on there with Jay. She was on there with Yeezy. She was on there with so-called Rick Ross. But after that, what did she become? She became what the other predecessors were, right? Cardi B, what is she? What is she supposed to present herself as? Meg Thee Stallion, what is she supposed to present herself as? Even when she's on the stage for something that's supposed to be prestigious, what's she supposed to be doing? She's supposed to be twerking and making that you know what clap. How you doing, babe? My wife is on the Honorable Alma. As always, check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A&D, the letter N. Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. Love you, babe. Thanks for being on. Thank y'all for the love. You hear what I'm saying? These persons, that's what they're supposed to be. I'm focusing on rap, you know, so that's why I'm not even mentioning the Miley Cyruses of the world and others that we can go into as well, right? Even Eve, who you could say was even respectable, didn't Eve start showing her stuff too before she finally kind of fell off as far as popularity? And the ones that don't show all that stuff or whatever, they still got to talk a certain way. Doesn't Glorilla have to talk a certain way? Doesn't SZA have to talk a certain way? What's her face? The one who done got skinny with the orange hair. She went on Kai Cenat's live stream on Twitch, and he said, "Give me a freestyle." She turned around and started twerking and trying to make her behind clap, and then basically, like Kai was like, "You going to freestyle?" And she was like, "That was my freestyle." Ice Spice, thank you. That's standard issue. That's what gangster rap says that your women's supposed to be like. And if they don't conform that, and by the way, while selling that to you, while the real industry gangsters are selling that to you, then they allow everybody to come behind them and say, see, that's the problem with y'all so-called race. That's the problem with your women. They sell you this stuff. They have the video. Look, man, the video. Look, this is why we got to be honest about it. Look, I told y'all there were a guy I went to school with from Africa, right? He came over from Nigeria, and he said he thought everything was a Biggie Smalls video. He was surprised that there weren't half naked, if not straight up naked women just all around all the time. He thought that's what we were about. That's how they promote you. They promote your women like that, and they say that, hey, I'm just supposed to get all the women. I'm best because I get the women. I got the money. I got the women. I got the car. I got the clothes, et cetera, et cetera. And then, can we keep it a buck, beloved? And then after that, when people start talking bad about what we present or we allow them to keep presenting or what we keep buying into, then all of a sudden we want to say these women that we, or this line of thought that we put out there that we support. Now we mad because these sisters are like that. That's why when the brother was on, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, right? I had to say, no, we're going to make sure that we defend our sisters and we give them a safe place, because we didn't give them a safe place. They had to become all these different things. They had to be mama and be the person that was, look, some of them, not all of them, had to be mama and be the person that was making it clap. and find a way somehow to get your respect, be the ones to make sure that they were taking the rap for you, or they were there when the police showed up and wouldn't let them in the door to find you and was patching you up or was getting your money together. That's the gangster mentality, right? What's the real one? Well, my side one, she was better than my main one. My main one tried to take all my money. My side one was like, yo, I found some money and this and that, blah, blah. But why you got 2, 3, 4, 5 of them? And this is what sells. To the point, like I said, to where persons try to use it against somebody like Chance the Rapper. Person tried to use it against Kendrick. Persons was like, "Yo, man, Drake, he out here, he cheating this one, he getting baddies, he's sleeping with other people who's in his camp. He's sleeping with Lil Wayne's girl. He's sleeping with this one. He's sleeping with that one. That's why I follow Drake. Kendrick, he only with one woman. That was part of the knock during that whole thing, was that Kendrick was faithful to one woman. How dare he be faithful to one woman? And part of the knock on Kendrick, even though it wasn't even true, but they tried to say that Kendrick had actually been SA'd. And they say, see, you're not even a man, you've been SA'd, as if that's something to go against somebody in, because somebody made it through something as heinous a crime as that, even though Kendrick didn't go through that anyway. Right? They came at him, or hey, one of those babies might not be yours. I heard it might be somebody who's in your camp. And so then Kendrick raising somebody and staying with his wife, even though it turned out to be false, but let's just say it was true. So you're telling me that Kendrick's a bad person, we should listen to him because he would forgive his wife? If that's what we're talking about. I know they're not officially married, but I'm just saying, if that were the case, we should be mad at him because he decided to still stay with somebody and raise a child and love them as the father? Like this is the mentality. This is what has crept in to the gangster rap mentality. You said, what about old school Ozzy Brothers and the old school songs they play in family reunion? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm focusing on gangster rap today, but I fully admit, I was talking about that the other day. Ozzy Brothers got in the song. They had to be more clever back in the day, but they were putting stuff out there too where he talking about climaxing, but it sound nice when they got a nice guitar riff behind it. So yeah, but I'm focused on gangster rap today. But that's why when we even started, I said, yeah, these persons, they took from this and took from this and took from this. But we don't want to admit. This is why, once again, we have to be careful. I keep bringing this up because it's true. Minister Malcolm told us a long time ago. Malcolm X told us a long time ago, hey, be careful. Our people, for whatever reason, think that because we think if somebody has more, that means that they're actually doing righteousness. We don't think that they're the gatekeepers for this wicked system. And Malcolm told us a long time ago, we have to stop looking at entertainers as being the persons who we look up to lead us. Denzel Washington gets baptized. All of a sudden, not only is part of a church, but now he's going to be a preacher. And Denzel, your movies and your life are showing me that you ain't ready to preach nothing. At least not truth. You ready to preach, but not truth. Right? Just because somebody makes a lot of money doesn't mean that they should be the person you look up to. I'm not saying there's zero entertainers that we can listen to. Right? This is how you can get Barack Obama. Barack Obama was more of an entertainer than he was your president. He could dance side to side. He was smooth in appearance. He could quote a Biggie line, and at the same time, he could hit you with a God bless America and do so correctly. But that was an entertainer. You're looking for D.L. Hughley to tell you stuff on CNN and all this stuff, and he gets stuff wrong all the time. D.L. Hughley is a comedian. He's a man. He's a human being. I respect him. He's an OG. He's a big brother. But just because you're my big brother doesn't mean that if you're saying something that hurts my family, I shouldn't say nothing about it. Yeah, same thing with giving out degrees. And by the way, I don't even mind honorary degrees if somebody's actually doing the work. You said Obama walked with a limp. Yeah, but he was an entertainer. Oh, they know that if they get somebody who's entertaining for us, we'll roll with it. There's either going to be one or two persons they're going to put in front of the masses. They're going to put somebody in there who basically says, hey, I hate everything about us as a people. I hate everything about myself. Or they're going to put somebody out there that says, yo, I'm as black as it gets, but I realize that you still massa. But either way, They're putting out somebody to entertain. And I don't want to make that only a black thing. We're talking about gangster rap, we're talking about hip hop, we're talking about the music industry. So let's be honest, a lot of that stuff is going to be something that affects us or something that we take the lead in. But this is something that is done with everybody. Everybody, they try to use entertainment, but the other persons, they'll know, okay, yeah, entertainer signs off on this. Hulk Hogan's going to come for Donald Trump and them. Donald Trump's going to utilize, I'm forgetting names, please forgive me. He'll utilize, it's not Ted Cruz I'm thinking about the country singer. Excuse me, whatever. But and even other side to use the Dixie Chicks or something like that, and all the different things or whatever, right? Well, Elon Musk, that's not. I was thinking more like, well, Elon Musk even himself is kind of an entertainer because he's not. I won't say he's intelligent, he's smart, but he's not smart in the ways that we've been sold on. Right? I'll leave it at that for now. But I'm just saying we have to realize that they put out entertainment, and if gangster rap is the entertainment they're putting out, and that says a lot about what they think about you, right? If Dr. Dre is going to still be around after he's slapping women around and stuff like that, and we're not going to make sure that he gave a weak apology, but we're not going to talk about it. That shows how much they think that they can put that in front of you, and you won't say anything about it, and you won't acknowledge that that's something you won't allow to be something that represents you. Right? If they know that they can go ahead and they can put Wendy Williams on TV, and Wendy Williams was out there wilding. I don't think persons even know because, and I didn't even know this until recently. And Wendy Williams is going through some stuff. I acknowledge that. I'm not here. I don't have heaven to hell to put anybody, and I'm just trying to tell you some truth, right? And use contextual facts to reveal truth, right? But Wendy Williams and even Charlemagne, those of you who know about Charlemagne the God in the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God started off with Wendy Williams. Right? That's why Charlemagne and all that stuff and gossiping, that's right up his alley. That's how he started. Being ruthless and trying to use that to his advantage to get some play. That's right up his alley. He was trained by the best of the best. Wendy Williams was out here, Method Man's wife, right? Ended up with cancer. She got sick. Persons in her own neighborhood didn't know. Who told the masses? Wendy Williams. When Wendy Williams wanted to go ahead and win and something like that and get fame, and somebody tried to come against her, guess what she said? She said everybody that she came across, she said all of them were gay. Every last person, anybody she could to make sure that she said, right? Wendy Williams was out here telling people on her show. I'm talking about on the Wendy Williams show that y'all was on that stuff and all that. She was out here telling y'all people should die. And the crowd was clapping. Gladiator games, entertainment. They put us out to be against one another. It's a gangster rap culture. Kill or be killed. And black folk who get in the culture, they know that they don't care if you kill another black person. Real talk, right? Killing a black person, killing a black person in America, all the stuff when they talk about black on black crime, they don't care about black on black crime. Kill a black person, whether it be physically, emotionally, to kill your name, do whatever. They know that that's what they want. That's Willie Lynch 101. That's how they keep you in control. And gangster rap is nothing more but the same. Right? Battle rap. Persons will swear to friends and this and that. Listen to how they talk about each other in battle rap. And once again, guilty pleasure. I have to turn it off sometimes because I'll get into it. Guilty pleasure. Right? I'm not even going to hold you. I still watch some of it. And then I got to be like, ooh, let me turn this off because I'm getting hyped. Right? Because my manager's frying the other one up. They do research now for these rap battles. They literally go and they look at what somebody did when they were a little child. They look at what somebody did when they didn't know any better. They look to see if this person, blah, blah. They look to see if they can take this person out. Did this person ever tell a lie? Did this person wear the wrong thing? That's the so-called hip-hop culture. It's not supposed to, but it's gangster rap affects everything to the point to where even if you Drake, and I never was really a Drake fan. Well, I'm not really a fan of anybody, but I was never really a Drake person or somebody was there. I recognize that he makes music a lot of persons like, though. It don't got to be about me, right? Not everything that's popular has to be my cup of tea. So I'm not hating on him for his music capability or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, he's not my cup of tea. But if you like Drake, hey, you do what you do. That being said, Drake even himself, he becomes gangster rap, even though he never was. Why? Because it's popular. It's pop music. Once again, right? Biggie made it to the pop charts. Pac made it to the pop charts, right? Little Yachty's on the pop charts, right? Y'all not catching this, you know. Kendrick Lamar, yes, the same one that you say you're anti-Drake. He has the same distribution that Drake has, and he's on the pop charts, #1. This is popular. It's not just about what you think is hip hop. This is pop music. And to become more popular with a black face, you must be gangster. You even went from Boys to Men to Jagged Edge. Jagged Edge got to fight folk, right? Who was the guy? There was a guy who was a solo artist. I forget his name. He can sing too, but he was out here fighting everybody. I can't remember his name. Raheem? Is that correct? He can sing. Whatever his name is, he can sing. But he got to be gangster somehow. You can't just be a human being. You can't be an intellectual. You can't be somebody trying to provide for your family. You can't be married to one woman, right? You can't be faithful. These are things that are against. Even if you R&B. Look at Chris Brown. Chris Brown, the blood now, ain't he? He blood now. He paid his way in. He paid his dues. All that, right? You can't just be, our loving each other, our honoring and respecting each other, our honoring each other as human beings, our loving our women, our having families is not the thing that sells. There was a time that you could talk about, what was the song Stevie Wonder made about his daughter? You can make a song about that. You could have a whole album, Songs in the Key of Life. You could have songs about doubt, right? Right. Lately, I have had the strangest feeling. Forgive my voice, right? With no vivid reason here to find. Yet the thought of losing you's been hanging from my mind. Like you could be honest. Well, I'm a man of many wishes. Hope my premonition misses, but I feel my eyes won't let me hide, right? Because they always start to cry. It was all right to be honest about relationships, right? My Cherie Amore, lovely as a summer day. My Cherie is more distant as the Milky Way. My Cherie Amore, you're the only girl that I adore. You're the only one my heart beats for, right? How I wish that you were mine. It was all right to talk about love and honor, and even if there were fears and different things, even to talk about things that were going on, living just enough for the city. But now you talk about something like that, oh, you're not hood enough. That's not gangster. Why are you trying to do stuff? Why are you trying? You always trying to rap like you're trying to free the slaves. That's a rap lyric in the biggest beef, possibly of all time. You're trying to rap to free the slaves. That's why the opponent has to come back and say what after that? He has to say, let me hip y'all to on game. Let me show you what you was doing, how you colonized and still how they colonized us, how you keep going down to Atlanta and all the famous Southern rappers and stuff. And you make sure that you do songs with them and get them to co-sign on your foolishness so that you can go ahead and say that you're one of us and you can be the biggest rapper, even though without us, you're nothing. That's why he says they not like us. Right? But once he says that, because somebody has their money and their name and all that attached to Drake, guess what they got to do? Now they got to come against the one who's saying, hey, this dude is a colonizer. They say, no, we got to defend him. We got to tell you everything that's wrong with Kendrick. We got to tell you everything that's wrong with this. We got to say that's why we with him, even though this dude is out here having all this stuff and still messing around with underage girls, hiding the daughter, allegedly. I would say that there's evidence, but allegedly. No, he's not messing around with underage girls, allegedly. Okay, well, if he's not allegedly messing around with underage girls, then why is he still... I'm sorry, y'all. My whole setup just almost fell down. Excuse me. But why is he why is he out here messing with these? Why is he out here talking to Texan? I forget the girl's name. She's popular and everything. There's an actor or actress, and she like 14 or something like that, and he's texting her and everything. People are saying like, he literally they ask her, oh, do you talk to Drake, this, that, or whatever? And she says, yeah, he texts me all the time. You 14, girl. How you 14 years old and this man has been texting you? And your mama be in the front seat co-signing on it because she getting that money. That's why you got to say he not like us. So the gangster rap thing, man, there's a lot of stuff that comes with it. Jay-Z out here with lyrics. Now you listen to certain Jay-Z lyrics, you're like, oh, he's talking about underage girls. And persons were telling us this, but we tried to make every excuse for him because he the rock. No, man, this dude is despicable. We got to call it out for what it is. We got to stop co-signing it, stop allowing it, and stop making excuses for it. So when you see this stuff hitting on there, right, remember, and I know somebody don't want to hear this, right? And I get it when somebody say, well, I'm gangster because I'll do this and I move for y'all as a gang. Y'all wants you to upgrade from that thought. You're not a gangster. You're a kingdom man. You're a kingdom woman. You're a kingdom. You're a king. You're royalty. You're Adam. You're Ayazar. Hold your head up high. Hold your head up high and live how Yah says. Amen. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you all so much. I don't know how much we have left of this series or not, but hopefully you've been getting something out of it. Hopefully it's just something for you to think about as we continue this series from last year. I shall see you all tomorrow. Thank you all so much. Continue to lift each other up in prayer. I'm gonna go ahead and take my leave. Thank you all. Appreciate, love you. Have a great night. And until next time, as always, we give our honor and praise to the Most High. We give our praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Amma. And remember, as always, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in the system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family. Take care. Thank you.